Good day, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Japan Journal. I'm your host, Mal Adams, on the internet's #1 English language online cybercast from Japan, Japan Journal.
Japan Journal, the internet's #1 English language weekly online cybercast from Japan. Japan Journal with Mal Adams.
People in Japan are commemorating the end of World War II. Thousands have gathered in Tokyo to honor the fallen in an annual ceremony held every August 15th. Emperor Akihito took part for the last time. The emperor will abdicate next April. About 6,500 people attended in remembrance of the more than 3 million that died in the war that ended 73 years ago. At the stroke of noon, the participants observed a moment of silence. Emperor Akihito said, quote, "While extending my thoughts to many peaceful months and years after the war, I reflect on our past and bear in mind the feelings of deep remorse. I earnestly hope that the ravages of war will never be repeated. Together with all of our people, I now pay my heartfelt tribute to all those who lost their lives in the war, both on the battlefields and elsewhere, and pray for world peace and for the continuing development of our country," end quote. The emperor has worked to heal the wounds from the war in and outside Japan. Every year since his ascension in 1989, he has delivered an address at this memorial, and this was his final one. He will be the first emperor to abdicate in about 200 years. The 84-year-old has expressed concern his advanced age could make it difficult to carry out his duties. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe vowed to sincerely deal with causes of conflict and work to create a world where everyone can live in peace. Abe says, quote, "Never again will we repeat the devastation of war. We will humbly face history, and whatever course the world may take, we will firmly keep this pledge," end quote. The relatives of the war dead are growing old. About 80% who attended the ceremony are 70 or older. Harumi Serigano is 102. She lost her husband when they were just newlyweds. To pass on the lessons learned from the war, students were invited to take part in the ceremony. Many events were held nationwide throughout the day to reflect on the past and pray for peace. Meanwhile, perennial visitors at Yasukuni Shrine thank those who died in the war for giving their lives to bring peace and prosperity to Japan, while some express disappointment that Japan Prime Minister Abe did not come to personally pay homage. The Prime Minister refrained from visiting the Shinto shrine for the 6th year in a row, but sent a ritual donation and dispatched a ruling party lawmaker on his behalf. Many attendees recognized diplomatic issues regarding the state officials visiting Yasukuni, but expressed disappointment that Japan does not have enough power to go through with a prime minister's visit, despite criticisms from neighboring countries. Countries such as China and South Korea, which suffered under Japan's wartime aggression, see the shrine as a symbol of the country's past militarism and protest when its leaders go to Yasukuni. One 82-year-old Tokyo woman who identified herself only by her surname, Murosawa, said she believes Abe, as well as Emperor Akihito, actually want to visit the shrine but can't do so due to the circumstances. She says, quote, "I pray for the day when they will be able to visit the shrine and pay respect to the war dead who sacrificed themselves for Japan," end quote. Many visitors to both Yasukuni and Chidori-ga-Fuchi said they are saddened that this will be the last anniversary of the end of the war under the current Emperor Heisei's era, as he is set to abdicate at the end of April next year. Crown Prince Naruhito is set to succeed the throne on May 1st next year.
Tsuchiya-san, thank you very much for cooperating with me today on this anniversary of the commemoration of the end of World War II. And you are my longtime friend and my dai senpai, in Japanese we say elder brother, and you are 82 years old, which means at the time of the end of the war, you were 10 years old, and I was commenting in my narration today that the emperor went on radio to announce to the people the surrender of Japan. So tell me what you remember about the emperor's speech in 1945. You were 10 years old.
Yeah, my family got together in front of the radio and heard the emperor's voice. But very noisy radio. And also, the words emperor used are very, very difficult to understand because it's not used in daily life.
His Japanese.
Yeah, very special terms.
I
It's
see.
very difficult.
I see. It's the first time people heard the voice of the emperor.
Voice.
Is what I understand. And at that time, the technology of radio communications was not perfect.
But still, many people understand that this is the speech of surrender.
Okay. So as a 10-year-old, what was your feeling? More importantly, what was the feeling of your father and mother? Were they sad about that?
I myself didn't feel it.
何でもいいな感じですか
Because I couldn't understand.
Yeah. So how about
Because
you?
my parents understand what it means. So many people cried.
I think so.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Thank you very much. I will share your comments with my listeners. Thank you.
Japan Journal, the internet's #1 English language weekly online cybercast from Japan. Japan Journal with Mal Adams.